By now, most of you have already heard about Squid Game. I mean, it's what, #1 in over 90 countries? That's a whole lot of countries where a lot of people have seen this show. And I think what makes it really interesting, especially here in the United States, is that it's a foreign film and we don't really get that many of those to blow up. And it's basically kind of like a K-drama. It is that. It's a K-drama, but instead of being only specific for people who like K-dramas, it's basically just blown up everywhere. And it reminds me of another foreign film on Netflix that's also really popular, Money Heist. And it reminds me of Money Heist for a lot of different reasons. The first one is the most obvious one. It's that they're both foreign films and they've both just blown up outside of the country where the show originated or it was made. The second one, it's the end goal. They basically both have the same end goal where they have to just get a whole bunch of money, or they just get rewarded a whole lot of money for accomplishing what they're trying to accomplish. And obviously, it's not an easy feat. It's not just, all right, we're just going to go and take the money. Nah, it's a lot of hard work that these people are doing. And the third similarity I noticed, it's kind of weird in the most random one, but it's the red jumpsuits. Don't you guys notice how they both have red jumpsuits? And I know it's just really random, but it is noticeable when you compare the two. So which one of these two series is better, Squid Game or Money Heist? Squid Game is not just your typical psychological show where it just tries to just have a whole bunch of death scenes to just try and be as shocking as possible. It's not exactly just that. It really messes with your mind. It makes you think about what people who are in the lowest of the lowest in life are willing to do just to change that, just to be able to take care of the people that they love, and just to be able to live freely. One of the most crazy things about the series, and something that I just couldn't wrap my head around, is the fact that they all chose to be there. They all willingly signed up to be there. Arguably, during the first game, they didn't really know the consequences and that so many people were going to be harmed. But after that, they all chose to come back there willingly, which was one of the most shocking parts about the series. Now, for the weak points of Squid Games, while there aren't a lot of weak points because I do believe this is a masterpiece, but there are some weak points in my personal opinion. The biggest one being how realistic some of this could be. Like, for example, when the main character went to go and report the game to the police obviously didn't believe him. Now, that makes sense. But I would imagine that other players from the game would have also reported it to the police. And if enough people report the same exact story over and over again, eventually they're going to have no choice but to go and investigate. So that part didn't really make sense. And the other part that didn't make sense is, it's the reward money. How do you give someone that much money without the government noticing, or without the government somehow being like, where did all this money come from? It's just not really that possible. And the only other thing I really didn't like were the VIPs. A lot of people didn't like the VIPs, and I think one of the biggest reasons, it's because they were English speaking, and a lot of the Korean actors don't really speak English that well. So I think that, or maybe they just wrote it in English in a way that just didn't really connect with everyone else. So I think that's maybe why the VIPs didn't really work well into the series. Now, for Squid Game and especially its strong points, I don't think I really have to point out that many things, like how the story is incredible and how the characters are just really, really relatable and you really like them a lot. And how I feel like everyone loved the characters, even the ones that you weren't supposed to like, but I feel like most people like the actual characters themselves. But the thing I really, really liked about Squid Game, it was the set design and the productions. It's sort of like a mixture of Fall Guys and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or something like that. It was just, I haven't really seen something like it before, or something that was done as well as this. Now, the plot of Money Heist, it's mainly about a professor who finds a group of highly skilled individuals and he orchestrates a bank robbery. Now, it's not just your typical a guy with a ski mask and a gun busts into a bank and screams, "Where's the money?" It's not that simple in Money Heist. I mean, these robberies were planned for years and years, and the actual people who are involved in it even went to a class where they had class every single day for, I guess, a couple of months before they actually went about the robbery. Now, one of the really interesting things about the series is that with characters especially as smart as a professor, he always has a backup plan to a backup plan to a backup plan, and it just goes on with backup plans. And if none of those backup plans work, then there's always like some sort of last resort thing. It also has a psychological aspect to it, because you really do wonder who are actually the good guys. Because even the enemies in this series, or when I say enemies, I mean law enforcement, kind of starts to question themselves like, okay, who are the good guys in this situation? Because they're not really trying to kill anybody. They're not really trying to hurt anybody. They're just trying to get money. Like, that's it. Doing it in the most just way possible. Because these aren't just random criminals who would just hurt anybody just to try and get any type of money. Because they actually have real relationships, real personalities, and real feelings that you can really relate to. And just like with Squid Game, Money Heist has a lot, and I mean a lot of moments where it's just not realistic, if I'm being honest. And I get that these characters are highly skilled and have robbed banks before and all of that, but some of these scenes and some of these situations are just not possible, I'm sorry. The plot armor is really strong in this one, and for some reason everyone just seems to have unlimited amount of ammo. And in my personal opinion, the relationships in this series, they were kind of cringe. I'm sorry, but it just sort of seemed like every single character was somehow involved romantically with a different character, and it was just too much. Like, it would be okay if it was one or two and someone had feelings for another person just occasionally, but it's too much. It just feels like everyone is just romantically involved with someone else, and it just gets put on your face all the time. Now, currently on IMDb, Squid Game is rated 8.2 out of 10, but Money Heist is also rated 8.2 out of 10. So clearly, these are both really respected and highly liked series, but they're also equally leveled in terms of just how much people like them. Squid Game just may be a little bit more viral at the moment. So which one do I personally think is better? Well, it gets kind of complicated. Squid Game only has 1 season, and Money Heist has 5 seasons. And I feel like Money Heist has done a well enough job to really stay consistent within those 5 seasons. Because in a lot of series, they just kind of tank after the 1st or 2nd season and just kind of lose their steam. And I feel like because of the subject matter, because Squid Game and the way that its story is and the way that its plot is structured, if it had a 2nd season, a 3rd season, a 4th season, I just don't feel like it would be as good as the 1st season, because just trying to repeat that same structure, it usually just doesn't end up well after you've had a success. Think about all of the horror movies that have these type of little games where you can just die or something, and sometimes the first one ever made is really popular and a lot of people love it, but all of the sequels and all of the remakes are always hated. And I feel like it is really easy for Squid Game to go down that path. So if we're comparing just the 1st season of Squid Game to the entirety of Money Heist, I do feel like Squid Game, like I said earlier, it is a masterpiece. I do feel like it is slightly better than Money Heist, but if other seasons are to come out, then I think it would not be as good as Money Heist, not even close. I just feel like it would just go down. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until we meet again, thanks for watching.